But yeah, so anyway, Three Bridges, what are we thinking? Tougher than we think, I think. I don't think it'll be a walkover.
Fairly decent team, but we should win. They were fairly decent at their place.
I've beaten some decent teams, haven't they? They've beaten Cray, they beat Ashford. I think. I think they're like third in the form guide, isn't they?
They're up there.
Yeah. One game at a time, guys. One game at a time.
So, what do you think, Leon? Will we winning on Saturday?
Yeah, 5-0.
I hope your predict 6 reflects that as well, Leon. I will hold you to that, mate, because it's getting tough. It's getting tight at the top.
Oh, I've had a terrible few weeks.
Yeah, that last week was terrible.
In a minute. Yeah, I got 0.
Sorry, Phil's predict 6. Anyone else on Three Bridges? Otherwise, we'll go straight to the time kill.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like 2-1. I think it's going to be a close game. So, yeah.
3-0.
3-0, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Wills?
1-1 to Hastings.
1-1 to Hastings. Okay. Can we have a Wood prediction?
No.
Okay.
From my end of things, I think I'm always confident.
Yeah.
Us at the pilot field against anyone, I think we've got a chance. So as long as we work hard for each other on the pitch and we're ready for it, and Gary, Brownie, and Meany get everyone up for the game, we'll be fine. My biggest prediction is I think we're gonna get a huge crowd on Saturday. I think it's gonna be massive. A real big feeling about Saturday. I think the swell's there, and I can feel it. People are already talking about Saturday's game, so I could see us getting 1,500 plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, you know that Pete passed away.
Yeah.
Are we gonna mark it with anything on Saturday? Is there anything we're gonna do?
We'll be doing a minute's applause for the life of Pete Eastman. You know, and actually on that point, on Pete, obviously very, very, very sad news. I only got to get to know him quite a bit in my first year at the club. Very interesting fella. I thought he wouldn't like me because I'm completely different to how it was before I came. But he was an interesting chap. Did so much for the club, from player to manager, and then obviously he was chairman for a while as well for Hastings Town. And just genuinely one of those people. Andy sort of talks about the main stand. One of those guys that been there through thick and thin and been around it. And whether you agreed with what he said or you didn't, he had his right to his opinion because he's been through the thick and thin of it. And it was, he was a life member. He was someone that always sat in the same seat when he was in the director's box until we stopped coming because of obviously how things were. But yeah, just an interesting chap. I'll never forget. We had a Velocity Trophy game, and he didn't know it was on because it had changed schedule. And he was always shirt tie, always smart, Pete. And he turned up in casuals and jeans, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was like, "I didn't know it was a game." I was like, no one's in your seat, Pete. Go and sit down. But a great guy, and from my end, from the year I got to get to know him that first year, I really got a lot of respect for him, and I appreciated him giving me that time and that opportunity to show what I was about. So thoughts with his friends and family.
Nice one. Right then, let's move on to Hastings Borough Council versus Hastings United. Billy, this has obviously gone on.
Yeah,
this is rolling on now for years now. We can say. What's the current state of things?
The current state is in that statement. Really, I think I genuinely believed that if we did the things that we've done, especially the last 2 years, what we've done for the town, the free stuff that we do, the projects that we do, some like stuff that we'll do with schools, all those things, and even just having built that family feel about the place where actually, if you go to the ground, it's not just 60-plus-year olds in the main stand and a couple of people wanting to swear behind the goal. It's not that anymore.
Lots of people swear behind the goal. Not really gone. Sorry.
Yeah,
go
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's the kids. That's the kids.
I know it is. That's the problem. But it is. It's a mixture. You've got the families. You've got the teenagers. You've got the people that have been there for 50 years. You've got the people that are new to it, that feel like Matt Stacks, who's completely in love. Adam Carter. Adam Carter 18 months ago wasn't a Hastings United fan, right? Now he does our commentary and he lives and breathes Hastings United just as much as you guys on here. And I think we've created this real Hastings environment it represents the town. I think when I see the supporters and see the faces, it really is Hastings. It's not just like a random bunch of people that turned up. It really represents our town. We've created something exciting, right? We really have. I genuinely, regardless of what some of the councillors tell me, I generally don't think 90% of anyone that's involved with the council or the councillors give a flying about Hastings United Football Club. I don't. And they can say otherwise, and that's fine, right? And they can tell anyone who asks them a question about it if they actually, yeah, it's great. I don't think they care. I don't. I thought what we do, I genuinely thought we'll win them round and we'll get it moving because it's undeniable, right? It's undeniable when success is getting delivered for a local council to back that, surely, in my opinion. Whether it's green space or not, right? You have to speculate to accumulate to make things happen. They want to build 1 million houses in Hastings. So why not take this opportunity to do it with us moving to Tolkien, build at the pilot field and tick some of those off? Genuinely, I believe that, and this is my opinion, Darren's very similar, but this is my opinion, and it's not fact, but it's an opinion.
Yeah.
I believe that they don't want it to happen. That's the truth, right? That's what I believe. I believe whilst the planning and loads of people, you're moaning at the wrong people. It's not the councillors, it's the planning committee. There's a reason why, and I might sound suspicious or I might sound like it's a conspiracy theory, but there's a reason why we only get information dripped to us when it's impossible for us to be at planning. Like the new reports, or you need this for a report, or you need that right at the last, in the 90th minute, let's score an equaliser and let's go to extra time. Every single time. And it's a little bit suspect, right? And I believe that the council in Hastings are scared of doing anything because they've always had egg on their face on any project that they've done because they've failed so many times. It's as simple as that. They always fail on every project. And until someone has a little bit of balls there and actually wants to do something, they're never going to do anything because that's the way they are. And there's a couple of councillors that I have a lot of respect for, and I will talk to them, I'll call them up, have a chat. And I want to believe when they tell me they want Hastings United to do well, and it's a great thing what we're doing, I want to believe it. But sometimes it's hard, Chris, to believe it, because once a councillor said to me on a Zoom call about 6 to 9 months ago, well, if you don't pick up the phone and tell us what you're doing, how are we going to know? Well, read your local paper, have a look online, have an interest in what we do, right? Have an interest that we give free sessions we pay for those every week. There's facility, because we haven't got facilities, and the coaching to put free sessions on for 3 to 6 year olds every bloody week. Read about it. It's on there every week. Have a little bit of interest. Imagine this. Imagine if my pie in the sky thinking how positive I am that I believe we're going to have football league club, right? That's what I believe. Imagine if we did in Hastings, what it would do for the town.
I know. The amount of money that would come in.
Huge.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone, and by the way, financially, we're very secure as a football club. Like Darren, Peter, and I run it like we speculate to accumulate at times, but the gates are the gates, the sponsorships are the sponsorships, and to massive thanks to like people like Continental, to people like Hastings Adventure Golf and players who've invested in massive sponsorship. Littlewoods, a lot of them who've invested in massive sponsorship because they believe that my crazy idea could happen, right? But imagine what we could be.
Yeah,
we had
potential
facilities, right? And people can say all day long, redevelop the pilot field, and I get it. Genuinely, I'm there 7 days a week. I love the pilot field.
That's what John will say.
No, but there's John nodding away.
Yeah.
But, and by the way, in an ideal world, I would love that too, because it's history. It's so you feel it, don't you? As you walk up, as you walk into the ground over the little lip, and you see the pitch, you feel it, don't you? You feel the 100-year plus history of the place. You do. So of course, would I want to be there? Yeah, of course I do. I look out at it every day, and I'm like, this is amazing. It's like it just needs that oomph. But when you've got a stand that's 100 years old, that costs thousands every year, so it don't fall down, Leon, right? and then you've got on top of that other costs, and you want the match day experience to be better. So you're bringing in merchandise stands, you're doing all these things to make it better for everyone, and safer and cleaner, and all these other things. Right now, the main stand's having a makeover as we speak. Well, not as we speak, but this week it's getting repainted and stuff to look better. And I think we do all these things because it's so old. You know, the pilot bar, not as old as the stand, right? But it's out of date as well. The social club, out of date. It's all out of date, and it would cost so much money to do. And unless we're ready to just lose millions of pounds with no real way of clawing it back, then it's kind of impossible. So I ask and I urge the council, admit it. You don't want us to go to Tolkien. Just admit it. Tell us. Say, we don't want to put Hastings United at Tolkien on this project. And once you admit it, come to us with ways that we can get hold of grant money or whatever to do the pilot field. And if we can't, then you risk a massive chance to lose your football club from the borough. It's as simple as that. Because we will have to think about how Hastings United survives long term, and it doesn't survive long term at the current stadium, because if that stand falls down, you can't play at the level anyway, right? If for example it's deemed one summer they come to me and go, Billy, it's got to be condemned, what do we do then? You know, so the long-term future at the pilot field without serious investment isn't there. So we might have to look at sites in Rother, and if we do that, that would mean in the next couple of years, Hastings as a town under the councillors and under the mind-numbing situation that we're in, cricket is going to leave the town to go to Rother, and football will. And they won't get their hands on the pilot field because we have the lease for it. So we might build somewhere else, and what we do is we'll just train at the pilot field. There you go. Like, we're not going to surrender the lease, no chance. So they've got to come to us and say, look, we do believe, we're not lying, we believe in what you're doing at the football club, and we think it's great, and we want to support that, and this is what we can do, and this is how we can do it. But they've not done that yet. I want Paul Barnett to do that. I'm urging him to do it. Come on, let's get out of our comfy seats and do something now. Let's do it. You know, Andy Batsford, all the time. I've actually got all the time in the world for Andy. But don't be frustrated, Andy. Help. Come on.
I may have missed something, Billy. I mean, but what's the situation now? What are we sitting on? Are they waiting for more information from us? Are they waiting for new planning, or are they...
but the ecology report, they want more on the ecology report that we've done, right? Which they've had this ecology report for ages, and they tell us seconds before the deadline on the day, where we've been chasing for weeks. And then on top of that, what's really, really frustrating is it just doesn't feel like it actually is that. Now, do you know what I mean? It doesn't actually feel like it's that. It feels like politics are in play.
Billy, I've got a recommendation. At the new stadium, if you put in like a nice little art gallery and an expensive coffee shop, and I reckon they'll be all over that.
Andy will be there.
Like literally, yeah, permission. There you go. It does like this. It does it. Obviously, like the last few years, like we've had loads of people come down from London. You've got a wonderful creative community. You've got loads of great people, but it's like the council want to cater for that crowd, don't they? And they forget that Hastings is predominantly a working class town. It's it's deprived, isn't it? You've got you saying earlier, like you look at the crowd you get at Hastings. It's such a mixture of people. That's Hastings. Hastings isn't just an artist, sort of fancy.
Leon, there. You're warming me up now, Leon. You're warming me up about the middle class.
No, but Leon, you're right. And like from my end of things, I wasn't born in Hastings, but I moved here when I was 9. This is my hometown, right? That's it. And I'm from a very working class family that we fought for everything that we ever had and didn't have everything as kids. And my salvation as a teenager was going up the road to, just like Howard, you go up the road to Stamco, St Leonard's, right? That was my thing.
Yeah.
And I think what we're trying to do is give something back. Like people can talk to me about teenagers do this in this town and the crime and all this sort of stuff. But what we're trying to do is get them to come up the pilot field and be part of something and be part of the success, because there's no better feeling. And I know all you feel the same. Then at 5:30 on a Saturday, when the final whistle's blown, you've had that half hour of like celebrating it, and that feeling you can't take that away. And to give that to the town with success through football is so much more valuable than just us winning games of football. So much more valuable. And the sense of belonging, the sense of being something with a pride attached to it. Hastings as a town has got worse and worse with sporting facilities, not just football. It's not just about football. With sporting facilities in this town have got incredibly dry for decades. And it's embarrassing. And do you know what? The fact of a town this size of Hastings doesn't even have one full-size 3G pitch shows me where we're at. And I was actually asked to run in the next elections, which I rejected, right, by a party, because I don't want to associate myself with any parties right now. But it got me so irate. I thought, Joe, I want to run as an independent because I'm sick of it. I'm genuine, and I want to run against someone that I think is holding the town back, because I'm just genuinely sick of watching it happen. And we need to do more. Like, and yet we can vote them out and vote someone else in. Yeah. But as soon as anyone gets in, all they want to do is sit on their hands, take their little bit of money and try and please their ward of people that moan. That's it. It's a joke. Sorry, I went really off the tangent.
No, that's all right. No, just a few questions. I mean, I want to ask you, obviously, about this ecology report. Yeah. So we've put this ecology report in.
Yeah.
And so when you send this thing in, do they accept it?
Yeah, they take it in, and
then why are they waiting to the? I mean, surely there's an appeals process with this. I mean, this seems like archaic. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Chris, I'm going to tell you something. Okay,
he's going to do a wrestling.
The planning application is an outline planning app. So all they have to do is put something in there saying this: if this planning gets done, you have to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So we could do that afterwards. They don't want us to go. They want us to go. Like, and it's the first time.
This is costing money, though. This is costing you a lot of money, I'm sure. Yeah. So doing these things.
Yep.
Can you not bill them?
Well,
I don't want a drink. I've got a drink, thanks.
So when they drew up the lease, we had to pay the legal fees to draw up the lease, right?
Oh, okay.
You know, and I say this is where the credit goes to Darren and Peter, because obviously this was a project that long started before me. And they've spent 6 figures so far. 6 figures, which could have gone on our budget, and we could have got two leagues by now. You know, so
he's not weird. Hang on, sorry, Billy.
Who's that?
Right. Howard has gone for a wee or something.
Oh no,
he's
that what he
probably
thinks?
He's doing his own ecology report.
oh no, I'm making a cuppa actually.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, all right.
But
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
on
sorry,
that, like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel it's like, and I've never, as everyone knows, I've always been, we're going to get this, we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Because I've really had no one at the council say otherwise. I feel it now. I actually feel it, and I'm not normally wrong.
Do you feel it's a culture there, Billy?
Yeah.
Or do you feel they're restrained by the funding that they get, central government type of thing?
But don't they get money for meeting housing quotas?
Yeah.
Haven't they got to like build so many houses within the next X amount of years, and then they get money? So you guys, what, eight? Is it 80 dwellings on the pilot field?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
But
right next to Tony Butcher as well.
Yeah, well,
See, I struggle to understand it because we don't get this problem in Kent. So it's got to be a Sussex thing.
Do you know what? Culture-wise, I think that there's a couple of things at play. I think at first, they were really not against, but I think they felt Darren and Peter being outsiders from the town. I don't think they thought it was. I think they were quite hands off, right? And this is me once again. It's an opinion. It's not facts. All right. I don't want the councillors calling me on Thursday morning, Chris, when this is out, and saying, Billy, what are you talking about? But I genuinely think they fear it. I think they fear outsiders in that sense. But I don't think they believe in what we're doing.
Hang on, Billy. Howard, sort it out, mate.
I'm sorry. I'm just making myself a cup. Sorry.
He's still making the same cup of tea. How long does it take?
Is it on? It's on the hob.
I've got it now.
You sorted?
Well done, mate.
I'm all sorted.
Right. Sorry, Billy. Carry on, please.
I don't think they believe in what we're doing. Like, what I mean by that is, I think they obviously had, it's Horntie, isn't it? Is it Horntie cricket?
Yeah.
I'm confused which one's what. I think they built that with all the will in the world. Obviously, we all know why that was built, right? We all know what they wanted to do with the town centre. But we're losing county cricket, and really that whole thing's become a bit of a white elephant, a bit of a problem, especially before COVID, a bit of a problem financially. I think they get a little bit scared. I think they think that we're going to move to a new stadium, do half of it, not do the rest, and then claim poverty or something, or it's going to go wrong. Well, the fact of the matter is, because they've delayed it so much, the cost of the build has probably gone up by about 2 million quid, because everything's gone up. All the prices have gone up. So it's a project that is hard to deliver, even with planning anyway, because of the changes in the world in the last 2 years. But at the same time, it's like Darren and Peter do this for a living, right? It's what they do, especially Darren. It's what he does. And it just blows my mind. It's like they can't get it because they're just like, well, everywhere else we do work, this never happens. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe is it the pilot field? Is it the fact that it's not about Tolkien really? Is it about the pilot field? Is it a case that the residents or maybe some councils live locally? I don't know. Like, do they not want more housing there? Like, is it a case that they want to stick their nose up at potential housing that could be opposite them? I don't know. Yeah, but all I do know is, and I'm gonna tell you this: I'm not stopping at pushing this club in the sense of I'm not stopping at trying to get us the biggest gates we possibly can get, the best we can possibly get league wise. Whatever it takes, we will be competitive wherever we go and try and win everything we're in. And we'll get to a point where 3,000-4,000 people have to come to the pilot field, right? And I'll tell you what, every single resident around there is going to hate me even more than they do now, because there'll be nowhere to park. There'll be nowhere to park for miles, right? There'll be cars parked on every single double yellow there possibly is. It will be chaos. They will hear noise after noise after noise because there'll be 4,000 cheering Hastings United Sports every time we win. It's going to be hell. So either try and help us with the infrastructure we have, like I went back with the council if they want to start a pilot field, or help us find a site. You know, don't push a site for so many years to us and then make it impossible to go to, which feels like that's what they're doing.
Just one quick question. The planning application itself, is it time limited?
Well, we all know that they're meant to be a certain amount of months, right, before like you can start kicking up a fuss. I think from our end of things, it's not. But it's also how far do you keep pushing it, Chris, to the point where it's like, what do you need to do? Darren's not an idiot. Darren and Peter aren't idiots. They don't hire. This ain't Mr. and Mrs. Smith down the road doing a report for 20 quid, right? It's a lot of money. And by people that do a lot of big projects. They're not idiots. It's not a bad planning application. It's not a bad scheme. It's not a bad anything. It's just, I don't know. I know, and you all know this because everyone's asked me about the ground since I've come in. I've been very positive. I don't think anyone's seen me be this agitated by it, but now I am.
But what is the alternative, Billy? I mean, at the end of the day, like you say, it's 100-year-old that stand, and you'll get 4,000 people down the pilot field. Is that possible? I mean, I've heard rumours that there's going to be a stand over the far side. I know even if the council said tomorrow, yeah, okay, you can have it, let's all go ahead. It's going to be a couple of seasons before that's playable up there. So the pilot field has still got to be used.
Yeah.
So is there going to be any new developments at the pilot field to cater for 4,000 people? You know, it's
well, as it stands, we can with what we've got. Look, the rumours of a new stand. I don't want to go too much into that now, but we're always looking at ways what can we do better and how can we make it better and how can we take away the variable. So what people don't realise is there's a wind speed limit on the main stand, which isn't actually that high, but it's on an average. So I know when we had the high winds the other day, the average wasn't hitting the limit, which craziness, but it wasn't hitting the limit.
Right.
That if for 1 minute suddenly that's high, a game could get called off because we have no main stand. So we have to have that a little bit in our mind as well, because not only could no one sit in it, but no one could get changed in it.
right.
You know, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
I think pilot field in its current state, the main stand's probably got about 5 years left in it. Like concrete's not meant to last over 100 years.
No.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle it's still standing, but it is, and it's safe. But
it's passing the safety regulations
every year, John.
Yeah,
every year. And
I was just thinking, really. So it seems like they're there just to delay or to say no to things, but really you'd think with a responsible committee or body of people that they'd be coming up with alternatives, you know, or saying how they're going to support us either staying there or looking at a different option. You can't just say no to something without credible reasons, without saying this is how we'd like to support you with this or that. And
well, that's what I'm hoping.
Avoiding tactic more than anything else.
John, if the council come to me and say, Billy, we've got an idea and this is what we want to do to support, and we can support it, and it's not going to leave us with severe debts, let's just say, because we're not going to do that to this football club. Like everything's been paid for to this point, and if they come to us with an idea, then great. But come to us, like we're easy to get hold of, like especially myself, and I'll talk to anyone about making things better for our football club. I'm just a little bit I feel that for the first time that genuinely they've never wanted it, and it's just been send them down the line and see how quickly. Let's see how quickly these Essex builders get bored. That's what I think they've been doing.
It sounds to me, John, you saying about them making decisions. I think people like that, their mindset will be to not have to make a decision in the hope that the likes of Billy give up, and that's their game. Yeah, that they don't want to make a decision, and they will just hope people give up and so they don't have to make a decision. And also, so coming back to what Leon said about cafes and that, I wonder whether there is a mindset of what they think Hastings can be. And I don't know about outsiders, Billy, but they seem to be very, very open to the. I'm not averse to going down to St Leonard's. Okay, fair enough, but they're very open to the right sort of outsiders. There's no doubt about that. Go down to Heist on a Saturday evening and see. You know, they love all that.
Can't afford it.
Yeah, yeah, too right. And it's. I wonder whether they're uncomfortable. They were comfortable with the club being the size it was, and they're uncomfortable with what they're having to deal with now. It was much happier when the club was out of sight, out of mind.
And we won't be that. We will not be out of our mind. Yeah. And we will be, and we are, one of the driving forces in this town now. We are. Like, how many Hastings United shirts, training tops do you see around Hastings now? Yeah. They're everywhere. Like,
it is. They can do what they like, and they can try to get their faces into supplements and all that sort of thing like they do. But Hastings is a working class town still, Leon. It really is, and that's the reality of it. And is there anyone you can lobby? Anyone can you get people up the ground to people who are sort of friendly? Identify people you can get up the ground.
The MP. Can we not lobby her?
Because now, I don't know whether now is a good time to get them there, because if you're going to, it'll never be much better in the near future than it is at the moment to get someone up there and to appreciate what's actually happening.
But I think that the truth is the council, I think our statement will get a reaction from that, and it's the time to shit or get off the pot, really. From them.
But Billy, do you remember a few weeks ago I was talking to you and Chris in the clubhouse, and I said when I was out delivering, I bumped into a few Labour people putting leaflets through doors and that, and I thought, I'll ask, what the hell was happening? I was polite, obviously, but I wanted to ask what the hell was happening. Fuck off. But obviously I asked the first guy, and he's like, no idea.
No
idea.
idea.
I ask. I think she's like deputy mayor. She'll know. I said, and she said, have they like applied for planning? And I'm thinking, you should know, surely. And and then they, sort of asked me, are you for or against it? And obviously, I said I'm a fan. I play grassroots football, so I'm, definitely for. But that's just the sort of.
Leon, I'm gonna tell you a fact, right? If for example, what I think's true, that they don't want to build in Tile Kiln, so they want to protect it or whatever, all they're protecting is 3 dog shit pitches.
Yeah. I've played up there.
I don't care what anyone says. I played on those pitches for many, many years as well, right? Locally, and as a kid as well. When I was at St Anne's, we played at Tile Kiln. People talk about dog walkers and stuff like that. Do you know what you see on at Tile Kiln? People on little petrol motorbikes dragging the hell out of the place, right? Because that's what it is.
That's a nuisance, isn't it?
Yeah. And all these people I'm telling you this, right? They haven't got a clue when it comes to the sporting facilities in this town, because we ain't got any. So now we're a success story. Hastings United this year, 8th of May. By the 8th of May, we'd had the men crowned. Hopefully, like everything crossed, toes a lot crossed. The men would have been crowned champions in April. The women would be crowned champions again in May, right? The under-23s champions as well, and the champions and Sussex Cup holders, right? That's success. And we're doing it with no training facilities in the town. None.
So the only other thought is the Source, the skate park and that.
Yeah.
Some of these people, there was a really good little Oh, there used to be that local documentary program and that, and they did a really good half hour. That was a whole half hour on the source and some big BMX competition they had down there and that sort of thing. And that sort of got onto national telly. And one thing, Maidstone managed to get their faces onto South East News about their attendances and that sort of thing. Is there any angle of getting South East News down there or getting any sort of TV exposure to try? And
it's very much like Maidstone, Andy. I mean, you just mentioned them. It's very much like Maidstone. That the whole scenario that Billy's going through.
Yes,
Maidstone searched everywhere for, and they went from the council, and it kept getting knocked back, and they couldn't get any facilities or any ground, and then they somehow finally gave in and gave them this little bit of land, and it's brought the whole town together. Like you say, the attendances they now get, and the whole town has been brought in by Maidstone United football. So why are Hastings Council not looking at that and thinking
it's an obvious
going down that route, and that's what's happened? You know?
It's an obvious model, because I think they ended up going, their site is pretty much a brownfield site. They ended up in down there.
Yeah, down the bottom bit,
Yeah, so that is an interesting model, and I mean, they, like I said, they managed to get a bit of local publicity and that sort of thing, and little things on South East News, and try and, I don't know, and that they are definitely, because Maidstone is what it is, but they are definitely getting publicity now as something that's good for Maidstone.
To be fair, I think PR wise, we're probably one of the only clubs that really have had the amount of publicity that we've had, like from like national papers to football magazines to obviously the COVID thing that Howard said. We were in same day simultaneous. We had BBC News and Meridian News down. It was great. So we get that quite a bit. The FA Cup run, we got a BBC Sport article as well. So I think the word is out. I genuinely think Hastings are looked at as a club in non-league football, as a club that's going to go that way, right? I think people talk about Hastings being like a bit of a sleeping giant that's woken up and it's going to go. And everyone outside knows it. Everyone. Because everywhere we go, or anyone I talk to in football, in league football as well, they always go, you know, he's got a great project there. He's got a really good project. Like one of my friends is the commercial manager, like director at Cambridge, and he went, "No, you got a chance to take a club to a football league." Like genuinely, people look at us like that because we're a big town. Like we're not a baby town of 20,000 people. Like it's a big place. It's a very well-known seaside town, great history, 1066, all that. We're on the cusp of something. It goes back to, for me, council are scared, either don't like sport or genuinely don't like success. Now,
but the thing is, I think in that it's difficult if there's a coach there, if there's a group of people there who don't get football, because if unless you've grown up with it in your soul, really, I think you don't realise how important it is for people, especially if you've got a town where you've got people with struggles and ongoing things. Football is so important as an outlet, you know, to channel things into. But see, that shouldn't matter really, because they have a accountability and a responsibility to spend people's money and people are voting with their feet to support their local team. It should be something they're behind. If they're truly there to represent people and to look after their interests, then no matter if they don't get football themselves, they should be looking at the basic figures and statistics which show that a couple of years ago we were getting 400 through the gate and we thought that was right. But something's happening here. There's real potential, and it would be a great advertisement for the town as well. So it's you know, it's just wondering really where their interests lie. If you've got an obvious sign that people are backing this club, you know, you've got to utilise that if you're in their position.
Yeah. But as Billy sort of knocked the nail on the head to an extent there, where it's got history, and we all look at Hastings from the outside, being a Kentish person, as an oldie worldy coastal town. Is that part of it, that they don't want the modernisation of seeing a brand new stadium there, and they want to stick with the old 100-year-old pilot field, and as soon as you go into Hastings area, everything is oldie worldy to represent that history that they've got?
No, they
bent over backwards for Jerwood, didn't they?
That's going to say they bent over backwards for Jerwood.
Have wrecked everything that's good about the town. If that was the argument, then we'd still see the memorial there. It would have been rebuilt there. These are good aspects of the town. We'd have that fantastic central ground there. They would have put the shopping centre where the cricket ground went. You know, you had the bathing pool, fantastic architecture, everything. They've stripped down and wrecked. So I don't, I don't the argument. Yeah. It's more to it than that, really. Yeah, and
I think you're right, John. I think the football thing's right. I think football is either in your heart or it's not. And look, and on that note, Paul Barnett, Councillor Barnett, says that sport, and he seems to be an advocate for sport, and I think he's going to be a more powerful player at the council over the next 5-10 years. And I think from my end, I just hope that we can talk, we can pick up the phone, and show a bit of care to a club that really wears the name Hastings with pride, like we do. Like, so proud. Like, I'm so proud that we get people supporting us the way they are. Get so proud that when we go away and we've got the people travelling from Hastings to go and watch us. It's amazing. So get behind it. Like, want us to have the success, because the more we are successful, the better it be. An FA Cup run in 2012, 2013, getting its third round is great for a couple of weeks when you get in the Sun newspaper. It means 3 weeks later, when you're out of the FA Cup, you're struggling in relegation battle. It means nothing. But what does mean something is if we are continuously, week after week, seeing what we can do to be better. But I'm telling you something, facilities are my biggest headache. We've got 300 plus kids, maybe 400 nearly, all wearing the Hastings badge with pride, that we provide coaching for every week. And we're trying to get them, they're here, there and everywhere. And it's sad, really. It's sad. When you can go to Eastbourne, there's about 400 3Gs in Eastbourne. There's nothing in Hastings.
Well, listen, we need to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But what one thing I wanted to ask you, Billy, is what can all of the people that are listening, what can we do? I mean, what?
You know what? Do you know what you can do? I'm telling you what you can do.
Don't say anything rude.
I don't care about lobbying the council and all of that. I don't really care, because I don't think people listen when it comes to that. What we can do is we can keep turning up to the pilot field. We can keep packing that place out. We can keep getting 3 points. We can keep cheering our boys on, fighting for what we believe in, and show this town what we're about. Bring an extra friend, bring an extra family. Just keep doing that. Just do it, because we're doing it, right? And we're doing it with pure passion in our hearts. I love Hastings. I love this town. I love this club. And I'm so grateful that I've got this opportunity to run this football club. But we carry on what we're doing, people will be undeniable at some point. And someone's going to have to pull their finger out and do something. And it's going to be down to you lot turning up, working hard for your football club off the pitch, while your lads on the pitch and girls work hard on it. It's as simple as that.
Good words, Billy. Good words. Well, I think on that note,
Chris, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Sorry, I've ranted a lot.
No. Wait, there's a lot to rant about, mate. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Billy Wood, CEO. Andy.
Thanks, Billy.
No, you're more than welcome.
Shoot, Howard, who makes the tea. Johnny Wills, Malcolm, and Leon. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Chris.
See you at the game, yeah?
Yeah, see you on Saturday. 3 points.
Saturday.
Yes.
See you on Saturday.
Yeah.